I'm here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and today I'm going to show you what it's like living in Vietnam and talk about what it's like teaching English here. So I'm going to head over and get some egg coffee right behind me over here, go get some lunch, take you with me, and talk about what it's like living here. So let's get into it. I'm here at a cute little coffee shop called Miracle Cafe, and I'm getting a egg coffee, cà phê trứng, which is a shot of Robusta bean Vietnamese coffee with this egg topping, which might sound a little bit weird, but it's actually really good. It's a mixture of egg yolk and condensed milk, and it's been frothed up so that it's creamy. It basically tastes like melted marshmallow. It is really good. And how they served it here, they gave little pieces of toast as well, so you can dip it into it. It's a drink that's more common in the north of Vietnam, but you can find it here in Ho Chi Minh City too. Ooh, strong. Okay, now that I'm well caffeinated, it's time for another coffee. What can I say? Vietnam has a great coffee culture, so I make the most of it. This coffee shop is called 3 o'clock Coffee, and it's a nice spot here outside. And Ho Chi Minh City has hundreds of great cafes. Everyone is always going out for coffee. It's part of the culture here. The other day I actually went to a cat cafe, which was also a lot of fun. So there's really a lot of different options you can go to if you like coffee. Vietnam just has really good coffee. As you saw, the egg coffee is great, and normal Vietnamese coffee is also really good. As for other things to do when you're living in Ho Chi Minh City, there's a great nightlife scene. The other day I went with some of our current Vietnam TEFL program trainees who are on this month's course to a bar called Twist. It's just along the side of the street, just a nice little spot to hang out, watch the motorbikes go by and socialize a bit. There's also Halloween on Friday night, and I actually went and watched some of our alumni who formed a band playing at a bar called Mooney's. That was really cool, some great guys, and they all just met on the course and decided to start a band. It's called the Boivian Banshees if you want to check them out sometime. And there's lots of different options here, everything from Irish bars like Mooney's to the little street side bars like Twist and big clubs, jazz bars. So lots of places you can go out in Ho Chi Minh City. And the weekend before that I went to one of our Ninja Teacher team members' weddings, Jem, who's in our support team, who helps people with everything they need during the course and helping them find a job. That's her role. She had a really fun wedding. And Vietnamese weddings are usually divided up into two ceremonies. There's one earlier in the day where it's the more traditional Vietnamese ceremony where everyone wears the áo dài, which is the traditional outfits. And then there's a ceremony usually with the family, a little bit smaller. And then later on in the day, or even a different day, there's the wedding party, which is a bit more like a Western wedding with the white dress, the groom wearing a suit, and lots of family and friends and colleagues. And those can be really big weddings and lots of good food and a fun time overall. And I thought I'd share a little bit about what the actual teaching English in Vietnam is like, because I know when I was going to teach English abroad, I didn't really have an idea of what it was going to be like, and it turned out to be quite different to what I thought it might be like. So the difference came down to what teaching English as a foreign language, TEFL, is compared to traditional teaching. So TEFL can be referred to as a few different acronyms. TEFL for one, TESOL, teaching English to speakers of other languages. Teaching ESL, it's sometimes referred to, or sometimes people just say teaching English abroad or teaching English in so-and-so country. There are some slight differences, but for the most part it comes down to the same thing. You're teaching someone to use the language. So in the TEFL classroom, there's a lot of engagement because you're really trying to get your students to use the language as much as possible. So in that sense, it's very different to traditional teaching where someone is standing up in front of a class and delivering information. In fact, that's one of the most common problems with new teachers is they have high teacher talk time, which means they're just giving lots of information. They're just talking and talking, and that's really not what it's about. So I guess in my head, what I was thinking was something more like a lecture from a professor, or even back in school when I was learning a subject and it was mostly the teacher doing the teaching versus what it's actually like, which is a very interactive and often fun classroom. This means lots of games and learning activities, getting the students to work with each other in pairs and groups, designing activities to get the students speaking and giving them a chance to practice and speak the language. And yes, you are getting them to learn new things as well. There's grammar structures that they have to learn. You're teaching the 4 skills: reading, writing, listening, speaking, but there's a big emphasis on getting them to use that language in practice, especially with speaking, listening, and writing and reading as well. So as you can see from these clips, there's examples of fun activities in the classroom, really having a good time with the students as well. While there are learning outcomes, you do want the children to also enjoy the process, especially if you're teaching young learners, which is the biggest market in Vietnam by far. So I think that's what I didn't really get in the beginning, and why it's also important to learn these skills, which are very practical. So you do want to do a good quality TEFL course, which ideally has practical teaching experience, in-person teaching practicum, learning in the classroom, so that you can actually put what you're learning into practice before you go and get a job, because that will show employers that you have those skills that are necessary to run a good class. So that's essentially what you should be learning in a TEFL course, and that's the teaching certification that you take in order to go out and apply for jobs and get a job. And that's why a good quality TEFL course can really set you up for success in the classroom and for getting a job, because schools can see that you have those skills, that you're able to step into a classroom and deliver an effective lesson, which gets the students learning, gets them using the language, and gets them to the learning outcomes. So if you come out to Vietnam to teach English, that's the kind of teaching you'll be doing. There's part-time roles, there's full-time roles. You can teach at English centers or at public schools. And a lot of people choose Vietnam for the good work-life balance that you can have here as an English teacher, with reasonable working hours and a good salary to living cost ratio. If you're interested to learn more about that, you can download a free copy of our Teaching English in Vietnam guide, which goes into more detail about the salaries and living costs, as well as the startup costs. So you can click the link below to get a free copy of that. Another big reason a lot of people come out here is for the travel opportunities. Being based in Vietnam gives you the chance to travel around Vietnam while you're living here when you have holidays, as well as travel to nearby countries. There's a lot of affordable travel within Southeast Asia. You can go to nearby countries like Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, and many more with very affordable flights. Flights are often as low as $150 to $200 round trip to some of these neighboring countries. That can vary, of course, but it can be very affordable to travel within Southeast Asia, so Vietnam is a good base to be in. And then possibly the best thing about living and teaching English in Vietnam is the food. So I'm about to head over to get some Vietnamese food right now, so let's go grab a bite to eat. Vietnam has also developed a lot, even since I've been here. You can see all these high-rise buildings here. Many of them weren't even here when I got to Vietnam. I've been in Ho Chi Minh City for 7 years and total 10 years in Vietnam. And I've seen some massive changes. There's a lot of electric vehicles now. There's that electric bike that just went past now. That was Sun SM, which is a ride-hailing service. So you can get bikes and cars, and they're all electric vehicles. They're the VinFast Vietnamese brand of car and bike. Okay, so I'm getting some cơm sườn ốp la, which is the broken rice with pork chop and a fried egg. And normally you have it with the nuoc mắm, the fish sauce, and chili. So I'll do some of that now. Put the fish sauce in there. Here's one that's already mixed with chili. So you can just put the fish sauce on the rice. This is a really good spot too. It's right by the metro line. It's quite funny, they actually blow the smoke from the barbecue out onto the street with a fan so that people can smell the delicious food and then they come in to eat. But yeah, let's give it a try. Really good. Ho Chi Minh City, Saigon is famous for cơm sườn, cơm chăm, and the broken rice is literally broken pieces of rice. It used to be that the broken pieces were sold more cheaply, so it was sort of the common food of the people, very cheap and affordable, and nowadays they just make it broken, so the rice is actually broken, but the texture is really good, and it comes with a little soup as well. I usually like it more if the egg is soft, and it usually comes with some pickled veggies here. Okay, that was a really good meal. Can't go wrong with cơm sườn. It's been a busy month. We're now in the final week of our Vietnam TEFL program. Our program participants have nearly wrapped up the training and their practical teaching. and we're now getting into the job placement part of the program. We had a couple of trainees who had birthdays this month, so we had some birthday cake for them yesterday, and then we're going to wrap up on Friday with the graduation and the end of course dinner and drinks and karaoke to finish things off. You can head over to ninjateacher.com to learn more about starting to teach English in Vietnam. So that's it for this video. Stay tuned for more videos about teaching English and life in Vietnam. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll speak to you soon in a new video. Peace.